She had been marvelling at the sheer littleness of her sister all week, and instinct told her that those small lungs could not hold too much air at once. One tiny breath. 2. 3. The baby was still. She tried again. 1. 2. 3. The baby coughed and opened her eyes. That wasn't the end of the danger. They stayed up with her in the galley all night, keeping her close to the warmth of the stove, burning candle after candle, as they watched her cough and splutter and squirm and, just as terrifyingly, sleep. But it was the moment that saved her life. And it was the moment in which Kelda, until then her own willful, wild person, was understood by everyone to have become her sister's guardian. They didn't do the naming that night, of course. No one was really in the mood for it the next night either. But Mam had already made the bitter chowder, and it would go bad if they put it off any longer. The trouble was, the family were old-fashioned, and usually went in for water names, but it seemed cruel to give the little girl a name meaning strength of the river or sea goddess or something. Like they were mocking her. Mam was the most pious of them, and she wanted to give her a water name regardless. But they were still arguing about it while she lit the lantern strung up along the deck. "She's got to have a water name," Mam said. "She's part of the family." "It's not right," said Dad. He hadn't said much else since the baby had spluttered back to life, at least not in front of the children. He and Mam had held a muttered argument, which they thought Kelda and Firth hadn't heard, but the walls of the boat were thin. Besides, Kelda was old enough to know what Dad suspected. In the end, it was Mam's piety that convinced Kelda, and it was probably what mollified Dad too. Keeping anyone of landman blood on board was absolutely forbidden, and the river would sicken and spoil. If the baby wasn't silvermen through and through, Mam would never have her on the boat. "Well, what do you suggest, Murphy?" snapped Mam. Her voice had the thick edge it got when she was trying not to cry. "Do you want to brand the poor thing as a freak?" "There must be something watery that isn't untrue," said Uncle Abe, ever the peacemaker. He spread his large hands out, palms up, his favourite gesture. "She'll live on water after all. Something about near the water, or..." He floundered here. On a boat." The unnamed baby whimpered in Kelda's arms. Kelda was inclined to agree. Her sister didn't deserve a half-hearted name, which just said that she nearly was. She wasn't a half thing. Her name should feel complete. Well, there was no help to be had from Firth, who was leaning over the edge of the boat to watch the lantern light dance on the black water. Mam and Dad, meanwhile, were strung up tight as fiddle strings, and neither could bend their position without snapping. So, Uncle Abe turned his spread-out hands and spread-out smile to Kelda. "Well," he asked, "what does the hero of the hour think?" For a moment, there was silence on deck as Kelda considered this. The only sound from the river was the reed warbler, disturbed on its island.